Yeah.
All right, I think we are
Are
live.
live.
Hello, everybody.
Yeah.
Hello, 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 hello. I don't know if I can see anyone's comments. All right, if you guys can see this, please do put your comments in the comment box so that Arsh and I can say hello to you, greet you from wherever in the world you are. I'll go first. I'm here in Australia. It's going to be midnight very soon, so that's why I've got the funny lighting going. Arsh, how about you? What time is it in India at the moment?
It's 6 p.m. evening, snacks time in India, and people are here for the super excited for our workshop.
Yeah, me too. Excellent, excellent. Um, Let me see if we've got people. Here we go. GM, indeed, guys. GM. Whoops. Let me see where I can see all the comments. Okay, cool. I think the challenge is that we have a situation here where the comments it's a private video, so we don't have some comments. So um, that's okay. That's all right. I'll keep track of the comments separately. It's not going to show in our window for you and I, Arsh, but I'll keep track of it. So hello
All right.
everybody. GM. I can see Luffy and Manasi and Pavan. Hey guys. Hey, Javier is here as well. And Manasi. That's Arsh, I think, trying to watch the live stream while he's on the live stream. That's what it sounded like. Is that right, Arsh?
Sorry,
Did I
so
catch
sorry.
you trying to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
yourself in the live stream?
I was excited to see the comments, right? I was not able to see the
I
comments,
know.
but
I
I
think
can
you.
see so many
I think
people.
there's a configuration issue here. So for some reason, StreamYard's not showing us the. That's okay. We can see it here, and we've got people
Yeah.
in the audience that help us. Okay, look, we've got a big evening planned, and I know Arsh, you said it's snack time, Mahape. So I don't want to get in the way of your samosa, jalebi, chai, and all the rest of that because I know I would get very cranky if that happened. So how about we do this, Arsh? Let's get started. We've got quite a lot of people in the crowd here. Um,
Yeah.
how about I'll start just giving some people a little bit of an overview. So, question for those in the audience, please just put it in the comments. How many of you are existing web devs who've never touched blockchain? Just do a +1 in the chat. So, if you've got any development background, but it's not in the blockchain, just do +1 in the chat. Yep. Thank you, Vedant, Ayush, Abhishek, Lafid, Dono, Nikita. Oh, wow, lots of people. Nikita, Dheer, Yash, Manasi, Shaurya, code with optimizer. This code with optimizer sounds like a solidity thing. I'm just gonna say maybe it's not your. No, just kidding. Um, Lafi Dono Gamer, Tanya Twali, Rajan, Abhishek. Okay, so quite a lot of you are existing web developers or existing developers of some sort who are new to blockchain. Arsh, that's perfect, right?
Yeah, this is the type of content that we have. Perfect for the type of audience. And I can
Perfect,
see so many
excellent,
people, people putting up +1, +1, +1. That's the testimony to our correct content and people.
100%,
Perfect.
100%. Okay, so why don't we get started? Let me start by giving a quick introduction for all of you lovely people out here who bravely come here. I promise you, there's not much bravery required. Arsh is going to make it really simple. I'm going to also try and help it be really simple for you guys. Let me start by sharing my screen and give you a quick overview of some key concepts in blockchain before Arsh takes over, because that way it's easier for you to follow along with Arsh. Okay, let's do that. So let me just share my
Definitely.
screen. Sounds good, Arsh?
Yeah, yeah. Perfect, perfect.
Chal, let's do that. A second. Now, let me just find the right window now. Okay. Excellent. Okay. I think that's the right window. I'm going to share that window. Excellent. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to Blockchain Development for Web Devs. Couple of things. We're going to do the welcome and intros now and an overview of the key blockchain concepts and end-to-end project that what Arsh is going to walk you through, which is going to be a cool project because it's going to combine your existing sort of web dev technologies with blockchain stuff. Then we'll wrap up quickly and summarize. And we ask questions at any time in the live chat, please. We've got people in the team who's going to be here, pinning some of your comments and questions, which will be great. Okay. Okay. So quickly, let me introduce myself. My name is Zubin Pratap. I'm a dev advocate, developer advocate at Chainlink Labs. I'm an ex-Google SWE, and before that, I was a corporate lawyer for many years. I'm originally from India. I grew up there and all the rest of that, so I have a very strong connection. In fact, I got up with Arsh just a few months ago in Bangalore and stuff. Arsh, introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you so much, Zubin. Talking about myself, I currently work for Samsung as a software engineer. Apart from that, I keep talking about different technologies. I have been a content creator across multiple platforms, and I am a part of the community. And I believe in building communities and taking the word forward. So yeah, you would have seen me posting a lot of content across multiple platforms. Yeah,
Awesome,
and
awesome.
if I talk about blockchain, so I met Zubin and I was very interested in what blockchain holds for all of us. Super excited for this particular session, hosting it along with Zubin.
Yeah, me too, Arsh. Thanks so much for making yourself available. It's been a lot of fun preparing this with Arsh.
Yeah.
Arsh is right. It's been, Arsh and I have been doing chats and conferences and saying, "Acha, ye kaise karte hai, wo kaise karte hai?" Like, how do we do this? How do we present it to the audience? It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple of things. Maybe I'll chat. I'll drop this link for you guys in the chat, right? But this is basically a super important link. This is the Git book that we created. That's going to have all the stuff you need. Harsh, is that you? Oh no, that's me. Sorry. That's me that had that coming through. Sorry about that, because I'm also monitoring the live thing to see the comments. So the Git book, I've just dropped it in the link, guys. And please open it up, have it on a separate browser window so that you can follow along. And if you need the link, just shout out in the comments again. So let's get through some key comments. This is and if you want some background, take a look at that LinkedIn article that our chief product officer Kamal had published some weeks ago. It was really great. Blockchain, guys, is not the same as crypto. Okay, crypto is generally used in the context of the currency and stuff. It has many meanings. Blockchains are basically a decentralized bunch of machines. Okay, think of them like nodes, computers, whatever you want. Okay, it's decentralized. It's a network of computers, not that dissimilar to the internet when you think about it, which is also a network of computers, right, Ash? It's basically the World Wide Web is a
Yeah.
network, right?
Yeah.
So similar to that, the big difference is it's public infrastructure in the sense that it's not owned by any centralized agency or company or whatever it is. Anybody can spin up their own node. It's permissionless, is how you express it. And it has to have consensus. Because it's public and not centrally controlled, how do you know the data on it is correct? How do you make sure the data on it is accurate, right? And so how you do that is you have a consensus algorithm, whether it's proof of work, proof of stake, something else, whatever it is, on the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
So all the nodes have to agree. Only after that does it persist and become permanent. Now, why is that important? Because it becomes permanent. If it's going to be permanent, and that means it's going to be immutable, we have to be pretty pakka that is right? We have to agree that
Yeah.
the whole thing is correct. So that's the idea. So that's basically what a blockchain is. Now, because it has this thing that all the nodes in the blockchain need to agree, right? All the nodes in the blockchain, let me turn on the laser point here. All the nodes here need to agree before the data is written to the blockchain, which means it cannot connect to the rest of the world because that could interfere with the data quality, right? How do you get consensus when you're getting different kinds of data that don't agree? So by
Yeah.
design, it's not a bug, it's a feature. It is disconnected from the real world, right? So now you have a problem. How do you get off-chain data onto the chain, and how do you push on-chain data off-chain, right? So that's where an oracle comes in. An oracle is sort of like a middle level of nodes where you're able to connect the world's data into the blockchain and out of the blockchain without losing any of the cryptographic guarantees that you rely on in a blockchain, without losing the benefits of verifiability, trust minimization, cryptographic proof. So basically, you have all the benefits of making sure the data is pretty sure and solid, and you're pretty confident with it. It has consensus, but at the same time, you're able to interact with the rest of the world. Do you have any comments or perspectives on that, Ash?
Yeah, definitely. For somebody who is very new to it, the concept might look a little heavy, but yeah, this is something that might be that might have a lot of use cases in future. The concept of decentralization is something that we all rely upon.
Got it. Okay, got it. So it's getting to be quite important because obviously this idea of trust minimization, decentralized is picking up, right? In a world where trust is becoming harder and
Yeah.
stuff. So you're exactly right. Now let's get into some interesting fundas and concepts here, right? You'll hear this mainnet, testnet stuff. For those of you who aren't familiar with the blockchain, what does it mean? Remember, I said a blockchain is basically a network of nodes and computers, right? So you have the mainnet, which is the main network, like the Ethereum network is the main network. Okay. You have Arbitrum, Optimism, you have all these main networks. Think of it like a production environment. That's prod. Okay. That's out in the real world. Okay. And then how do you have a staging environment or a testing environment? Well, that's what a test net is. And they typically go with these other names, like, like for example, Polygon, the main net, has a test net called Mumbai, right? Ethereum has Goerli, Sepolia, and stuff like that. So all these names, I mean, it'll be cool if you had names like Shah Rukh Khan and Hrithik and stuff like that, but we don't yet, right? Like, that'll be pretty cool if we had it for a time, because put it on the Hrithik chain, like it'll be kind of fun, but we don't have that yet. Maybe someday, right? But typically, you have all these names for all these chains, so they're identified by the chain. So today, for example, Arsh, we're doing it on
We'll
which
be
chain?
using
On
Sepolia.
the
We'll be using
Sepolia,
Sepolia.
which is an Ethereum testnet, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So that's what we're going to be doing. Sorry, you were going to say, Ash?
Yeah, I was just saying it's going to be super fun. They're listing new names, new terminologies for the first time, and we'll be using actually in code. It's something
100%, 100%, 100%. So Ritvik is asking till when this session on. Look, it's going to go for about 90 minutes, maybe 2 hours. Depends on how much fun Arsh is having. Depends on how much jalebi you guys are having to miss out on, and chai and dinner and stuff. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the main nets and the test nets. Now, what are the tokens, right? Tokens, a lot of people think this is the cryptocurrency stuff, and yes, there is some of that, but there's also what's known as a utility token. Why do we need a token though? So a lot of these tokens that aren't, for assets basically, are utility tokens, and what that means is they're used to kind of pay for and fund for the computation that happens, right? Because all these decentralized nodes in the chain have to do computation. There's basically a giant decentralized computer, right? So there has to be an incentive for people who run these nodes to mine the computation, to reach consensus and write to the blockchain. And so that currency that is used to compensate them for that work is the token. And often it's a native token, like Ethereum's token is Ether, right? And other blockchains will have their own native token. There are also synthetic tokens and financial tokens like ERC20 tokens. NFTs, a lot of people have heard this, non-fungible token. It's basically a token, right? So, and at the heart of it, Arsh, like, what is a token? It's basically a smart contract, right? And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Right. So these are kind of the tokens we have. Okay. And then now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes very quickly, right? But what are wallets? So this term is thrown around a lot, wallet. How would you explain a wallet, Arsh, to somebody who's new to it?
So basically, it is something that is used to fund any of the transactions. For a layman, wallet is something that you carry around your money in, right? So it's like basically if you want to fund your tokens or if you want to fund your transaction, so you need some amount of fee that you need to pay. So that is something that is stored in a wallet. From very layman terms is what I'm telling.
100%. And look, we'll keep it nice and chill and aram se right now so that we can chillax a bit with this. Otherwise, we're going to go into really deep rabbit holes, right? So the basic funda is exactly what Arsh said. And there's also a little bit of nuance in it, which is, on the typical web world, for example, you have a login and a password to authenticate yourself, right?
Yeah.
In the blockchain, your wallet is used to authenticate every time you try and change the state of the blockchain. So there's a private key and a public key, which we'll show you all now. But you basically cryptographically sign any write command you issue to the blockchain. And then the blockchain can verify that it's come from you using the public key, right? And then it says, okay, Arsh's wallet did this, Zubin's wallet did this, Vishal's wallet did this, etc. Right? That's just how it's going to be. Okay, so why don't we, I guess, क्या हम शुरू करें? गुरुजी, Arsh ji,
चलिए
let me unshare my screen. Let me unshare my screen and then we will get started.
Awesome. Lovely, Zubin. I hope basics of blockchain are clear to people. Some of the terminologies that we'll be using in the session. It was a great walkthrough, and that too in a very short time. You're able to match up the time. Awesome.
There's never enough time in the world for all the things you want to talk about, yeah, Arsh. This is the problem.
Yeah, and there's something special that is going to come today. Okay. Awesome. So shall we start? Cool.
All yours. Take it away.
Yeah, I am trying to share my screen. My screen is in
I've
front of
shared
me.
it for you. I've shared.
Great,
Sorry, I have
great,
control.
great, great. Thank you so much. Yeah. So yeah, thank you so much, Zubin, for the introduction. And now we'll be talking about what exactly should a beginner in blockchain start with, right? So when you are trying to code, when you're starting to code, there are so many IDs that you need to install. There's so many packages that you need to install. Let's say you want to work around on Python, then you need to install Python. You work around on Python, you need to set up your IDE for that. Similarly, here also there are few things that you need to be very careful about. We have discussed about multiple things. What is a test net? What is a mainnet? What is a wallet? Right. So we'll try to see how these things look in actual, and it's going to be really really fun, right? So I hope you can see my screen and you have that Gitbook handy. I think the link for the Gitbook is there in the chat, and many of you are asking about whether you will get the recording for the session. Definitely, you will get the recording of the session after this live. This will be available on YouTube. Plus, you'll get an email if you have already registered for it, right?
Also, Arsh, would you
Let
mind just command plussing a little bit to zoom in just a little bit here, just so that some people don't, in case
Okay.
they're watching in smaller screens.
Is
Ah,
it better now?
that's better.
Cool है?
Thank you. I think that's better.
ठीक
Cooler,
है
cooler.
ठीक है ठीक है thank you chalo. So just I would like, if you're doing it on the go, please have your Gitbook handy so that you can maybe walk through on whatever we are doing, and so that you have a better context of what you want to do. So what we are going to do in this session is, firstly, what are Web3 concepts. I think we have discussed a bit about multiple things, but on the way, when we are trying to build something, there are a lot of things that we will be discussing, and Zubin will be giving us a lot of inputs on on a lot of why of things, right? Why this thing is happening or why that thing is happening, so that we understand it fundamentally. Understanding fundamentals is very important. From there on, we can build upon whatever we want. Secondly, we'll be creating and deploying the simple hello world smart contract. Any coding language, when we start, right? You might have started with C or C++ in your college. You might have written a hello world program, right? So here also we are going to give you that same feeling. We are going to deploy and create a hello world smart contract. After this, once you are capable enough to understand, once you have that kind of knack of understanding things.
What happened, Arsh? You gone quiet.
Yeah, just a minute. Am I visible? Okay,
You're
cool.
visible
I
and your
think there.
screen's visible. Huh.
Okay, cool. I think there was some electricity problem, but yeah,
Okay.
we are here. So the next part is building a decentralized news aggregator with Chainlink functions. This is something that's one step ahead of what we're trying to do in the simple Hello World contract. So here we are trying to fetch something, and we'll try to discuss the use cases. And you are practically going to build an entire application with the front end. So it can be a small project that you can show in your resume also, if you see it sincerely, right? And there's a lot of potential to build something of this sort. Just to get an idea on how we are doing it, it would be very very simple. It can be one of the projects that you can list anywhere, right? So it's going to be a resume project also, would be helpful for your careers ahead. So make sure you watch it carefully. Let's start it, right? So first slide, where we talk about key concepts. I think Zubin has given a context of a lot of things: Ethereum blockchain, Chainlink, testnet, Sepolia. All these terminologies you will understand on the go as we start. So the first thing is, we need to install something known as MetaMask. So we have talked about wallets, right? So similarly, we will be talking about in this particular thing, we'll be using MetaMask. So, and we are going to install MetaMask for our system. So if you have already if you have already some background in blockchain, then you might be aware about it, how to do it. But yeah, I think most of you are new, and you have some context of web 2. So for all of you, we have uh, MetaMask installation. So let's see how we do that. We'll try to install MetaMask for our Chrome, as I'm using Chrome.
And for those of you who using Chromium based browsers, even stuff like Brave and stuff, it'll work. Basically, Chromium browsers will work.
Awesome. uh, so there's an extension that we're going to add on to our Chrome. So once you've added the extension, so we'll try to process a new account, right? So I agree to the MetaMask's terms. We'll try to help us improve MetaMask. Okay. So you need to give a password. You can give uh, Just a minute. Let me configure any of the passwords.
Yeah, and you'll be throwing away this wallet anyway, so it doesn't matter too much. For those of you who are planning to use your wallets for dev, just remember the password because that's only on your browser. That's not for the blockchain. That's only to access MetaMask in your browser.
Yeah. So I understand that MetaMask cannot cover. Great. Okay, now this there comes an interesting part on how you secure your wallet, right? So there's a secret recovery phase that you need to remember if you want to use this account going forward. Right? If it's just for this particular workshop, you can skip this part also, but it's not recommended. But if you want to have a wallet that you want to use in future, so there is a secret recovery phrase that you will be getting, so that you can secure your wallet. What is a secret recovery phrase? It's a 12-word phrase that is master key. So when we click on secure my wallet, you'll get to see it. I'll click on it. How do I save my secret recovery phrase? You can save it anywhere. You can save it in your password manager or on your phones, whatever you feel like is the most secret place, and you will be able to recall when this is needed. Should I share my secret recovery phrase? Never. It's your wallet. You can't share access to where you have kept all your money, right?
Doesn't matter for today though.
So yeah, but write down your secret recovery phase. Yeah. So you can see this is my recovery phase. Let's say it's a 12 words recovery phase. Just for the sake of it, I am trying to store it in my phone. If I require some configuration, okay, I've taken click. So you also, if you are doing it on the go, you should take or you should store it somewhere. So I need to fill that up so that we can confirm. Let me write.
So while Arsh is doing this, let me give you guys some background to this recovery phrase. Like it's basically they use English words to represent the private key, which is a giant number, basically, right? It's cryptographic, it's cryptography. So there's a giant number that's represented by a secret phrase. So it's easier to look at words than it is to say a giant number, and that's why they do it this way. But it's unique to you.
Yeah,
Everybody gets unique combination.
kind of hashing mechanism that you do, right?
Kind of.
Awesome. So your wallet is done. We are successful. Let's go ahead and try to install it. I think we are done. Okay. So yeah, you can see this is the wallet that is set up. So now you have zero US dollars. This is the account and this is your wallet address. This is going to be very, very useful when you want to fund your tokens, right? And here you can see we have Ethereum mainnet. Zubin has clearly explained what is a mainnet, what is a testnet. But for this particular thing, we are not going to do it on mainnet. We are going to do it on testnet because we are going to do a lot of experiments and we want some kind of fee that it might require. But for that, we will be having uh,
Yeah.
a, a testnet, right? So which testnet we are going to use? We are going to use, you can see here, there's test networks. We're going to use Sepolia for this. It's by Ethereum, as have been already rolled. By Polygon, there's something known as Mumbai, and multiple other testnets are available. But for this particular workshop, let's go ahead with Sepolia. So yeah, so you have zero
You
Sepolia
know,
Ethereum now.
one thing I was thinking, Ash, I wonder if people in the audience are confused by what the account is. Like, we've told them that they can't share their private key in any way or their word list and stuff, right? But the account is actually public. It's your public key. It's your public address that
Yeah,
is meant and designed to be shared. It's totally safe to share your account. In fact, we'll be doing it a lot.
yeah,
In fact, I'll tell you what, Ash, why do we do this?
yeah,
Huh? I'm going to just paste a quick document if you don't mind in the chat. It'll
yeah,
be
yeah, sure.
awesome. I'm going to paste this document here in the chat, guys. Once you've created your MetaMask wallet, right? Just why
Mhm.
don't you just try and open that Word doc and just paste your public address in there. Be careful to click and paste only the public address. I mean, it doesn't matter if you send your private key, you can change the wallet, but just paste your public address in that document just for fun. It'll be fun to see what happens. How many of you guys actually do it? I put it in the chat. Sorry, Ash. I just want to have fun with the audience a bit.
Yeah, yeah, perfect. Somebody saying they have used Web3 They have did Web3 tutorial last time using Ganache. Not sure if I'm pronouncing it
Yeah,
correctly.
yeah. Look, Ganache has been deprecated in this, but it's a local development blockchain. It's what we use on the
Ah,
local machine, right? It's like
understood.
for developing purposes locally. It's like a simulation. But
Yeah,
now there's Foundry, there's Hard Hat, there's all sorts of tools you can do locally. That's not really a test net; it's a local blockchain, on machine blockchain. right? That's what it is.
Got it.
We still you can still use Ganache. It still works. It's just been they're not supporting it. The team is not supporting it. That's all.
Okay. Okay, so one step is done. We have installed our MetaMask browser and we have generated the wallet address. You know what is a wallet address? Wallet address stands here. Next, we need to connect your wallet to Sepolia testnet. This tool also we have done. Now we need to add some test ether and link tokens to this MetaMask wallet so that we can fund our computations. So here for this particular workshop, we have something known as workshop faucet. So what is a faucet? Can anyone of you tell in the chat if you are aware? So you can see faucet is something of a sort of a tap that shells out cryptocurrency or that shells out whatever funds your token, right? So you can say it's a very analogous phrase to what a tap does.
Correct.
Let's try and open this workshop faucet. Cool. So yeah,
And
here
guys,
you can.
sorry, Ash, just to jump in there, a lot of people may not have access to the faucet straight away because it's behind a password. The password's in the Git book. Huh? If you open up the Git book, it's there. It's showing in the Git book. If you're wondering what it is,
It's
you'll see the password
universal
universal
gas
gas
777.
777. It will probably change in a day or so after the masterclass, but for right now, you guys can use it. Thanks, Ash.
Awesome. So yeah, for this particular faucet, we have a testnet account address. So we'll copy the address from here and we'll try to fund our wallet. So you can see we are funding it with 10 link tokens and 0.5 Ethereum tokens. So this is something known as link tokens, something known as Ethereum tokens. Ethereum, as we have already discussed, link is specific to what we are going to do on Chainlink, right? So we are going to use something known as Chainlink functions going forward. For that, you might require link tokens and Ethereum tokens, as you already know. We have 0.5 Ethereum tokens, we have 10 link tokens. Let's try to send a request. What we see is a transaction is initiated and we are getting a confirmation. Let's wait for it.
So we're requesting for
Okay.
2 tokens here, right, Ash? We're requesting for the Sepolia token, which is the ETH Sepolia token, and the link token, which is Chainlink's funding token, the utility token to fund Chainlink Oracle operations on the blockchain.
Yeah. So we might require both of them going forward. You'll see how we'll use it. But yeah, this request is complete. Let's try and close and see our wallet now. So you can see we have 0.5 Sepolia Ether, right? But where are the link tokens? We don't have link tokens. Let's go back to the Git book. Yeah, so for link tokens, you need to get them from here. Let's try and open and see what it is. So we need to fund our Sepolia testnet. Yeah, so you have your Sepolia testnet Ether link tokens here. This is the current address. Let's try and add it to our wallet. Yeah, so do you want to add 10 link tokens? Yes, so we have added these link tokens and now you can see we have 10 link tokens and 0.5 Sepolia Ether. So yeah, we are perfect. We are done with basically configuring our wallet and doing the stuff. Correct. Let's try and see if there's something left. Writing, compiling, and employing your first contract. This is the next step that we're going to do. Calling methods in the smart contract. This is like, perfect. We are done with the first part, getting started. Now it's the part where we will talk about how to write your first smart contract. That is a Hello World smart contract, and we'll be using this particular account. Cool. So deploy your first smart contract. When I say deploy your first smart contract, what exactly we are going to do? As simple as that, when we are writing a piece of code. So the first thing is we write a piece of code, then that piece of code is compiled. Similarly, here we're going to do that. Then we are going to deploy that particular smart contract onto our blockchain. And here we write the code in a specific language known as Solidity. So generally, if we have a code written in JavaScript, we have the extension known as .js. For Solidity, it's .sol. Right? We'll see how that code is written. It's quite similar to JavaScript, is what I felt when I saw it for the first time. But yeah, you can have an understanding. The code is quite similar to what we generally write in general.
Yeah.
So after that, you can run
Arsh,
functions.
sorry to
Let's
jump in there. Yeah. Sorry, I just want to clarify something. See, a lot of people get a bit confused because of the word contract, right? They think it's some sort of legal thing.
mm,
It's best not to
yeah.
think of it like that. It's best to just think of it as a program that is run on the blockchain. That's
Yeah,
basically it.
misnomer. Can we say it a misnomer?
Yeah, there's a historical reason why, there's a principle why it was called that. It is an analogy, like a metaphor, a comparison. But really think of it
Okay.
as, it's worthwhile
Okay.
thinking of the blockchain as a kind of backend, kind of, not exactly, but a kind of backend. And you're deploying it's like you're deploying Node.js to a server. You deploy a Solidity smart contract to the blockchain. That's the way to think of it.
Uh, got it. I think this is something that was very, very important. Let's. This is the first part that we've done already. Am I audible? Okay, great.
Yeah,
Not
and
sure
could you
what's
zoom in a
happening.
little bit more? I think we're getting some feedback that
Stays
the
on visible.
that's a little bit better.
Can,
I think maybe you do 150. What are you on right now?
I'm on one now. It's
One.
150.
I think
Is it
150 is
perfect?
better. Let's leave it there. Thank you.
Cooler. So next thing is we are going to write, compile, and deploy our first smart contract. Similarly, you might know about what a development environment is, right? So we have used Visual Studio Code. We started from Turbo C++ is the first compiler that I was using. But here, there's so many compilers. You can write Solidity code in any of the compilers. But for your simplicity, if you're doing it for the first time, we have something set up online, that is Remix. So Remix is the ID where we'll be that will be using it in this particular workshop, and you can also use it for writing some of your initial smart contracts. That will be very, very easy and clean and helpful. So this is the part of code. This is the smart contract, and they have a simple extension where you can directly open that in Remix. Let's say if we open that in Remix, what we see, okay, it's there. Perfect. So we have our program already written. That is
Hang on,
hello
Ash.
world.so.
100%. Even with my glasses, you need to zoom in high. This is so small.
So sorry, so sorry.
No, it's fine. It's easy
Uh,
to miss it, right?
yeah, do let me know whenever this is required, because for different configurations, I need to check it. Right now, it's okay. I think it's okay. You're on mute. Zubin,
Oh,
you're on
sorry. I
mute.
was saying 100%. Thank you. My eyes were really struggling before. You can rely on me to tell you I can't see anything, even with the chashma on, so it's fine.
Yeah, even it's tough. It was tough for me. Now it's better. Cool. Perfect.
Also, you
So
may
we
want
have.
to, sorry to interrupt again, just in your terminal, in the
Uh-huh.
Remix IDE, you may want to try and zoom in on that also. I think if you do I think Command Plus or something, just try that. Maybe it's zooming the entire thing, and then you can zoom out from the top one. Yeah, that's better. It's a little bit small
Uh,
now, but
let's wait.
no, I don't think it'll work from there. I think you'll have to do it from at the browser level, and then zoom out a little bit on the IDE level using the.
Yeah, that is something that we'll do. But let's just first focus maybe on this code part, and then we can zoom in
Yeah,
the terminal
makes
part.
sense. Makes sense.
Perfect.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Right. So this is the part of code. It's very, very simple part of like what we do is like Pragma Solidity 0.8.7. It's basically the version of Solidity that we're going to use in this particular smart contract. See, this is what is the code part, and it looks quite similar to JavaScript. This is what I told Zubin when I saw it for the first time. And yeah, I believe if you are comfortable in JavaScript, if you have a little bit of background, you will be able to understand multiple things that we're using here. Using, like, we declare a string, we have something known as access specifier public that can be used by any function, anything throughout our contract. And we have constructor basically used to initialize something. So we are initializing, and there's a function known as update message, and we'll update this message when we deploy it, when we deploy our contract, right? And we will be able to see hello world, how it comes out, right? So this is the code part. It's very, very simple, similar to what we do in normal C or C++ or any other language. But in the side here on Remix, I'm not sure if you're able to see. Let me try and zoom in. uh yeah, so there are few buttons that we need to be very, very careful about. So this is the compiler, and we have the code part, right? So this is the compiler where you can see. So here we have clicked upon auto complete. So auto compile. So our code has already been compiled, and what's the testimony to that? We already have a green tick here. Oh, I think Zubin, we are on your birthday. Zubin is having his birthday today. Wishing you a very, very happy birthday.
Thanks.
Oh, I just
Thank you.
missed it. I just missed it by 7 minutes. So sorry.
It's all good. Where's my
Wishing you a
cake?
very, very happy.
What's the point of
Yeah,
wishing me? Where's my cake, Yarash?
should I create a program to make a cake or
Britney
after this I'll
cake
share
on the
this?
blockchain. Correct. thanks,
Awesome,
thanks
man.
very much.
Wishing you a year full of health and joy.
Thank you
And
for
a
remembering.
successful year ahead. Yep.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Let's get back. Uh, auto compile. Yeah. So we have auto compiled it. Next is this green check signifies that your code is correct and it's compiled successfully. Next, we need to deploy and run our transactions, right? So this part, let me try and zoom out. Cool, right? So here you can see that like what environment we are going to use. We are going to use our MetaMask. Something was injected provider MetaMask. Let's try and click on
Yeah, you may need
MetaMask
to
and
zoom in a little bit for that left screen also, huh? Sorry, it's a real pain, I know,
yeah.
because the way MetaMask works, it's not great for the live sharing.
Yeah. Okay. So we need to try and give access to. We need to connect with the MetaMask account. This is the prompt that automatically opens when you select the environment. So once you do that, it is trying to connect, and we are successfully connected, right? So yeah. Now we need to write in a string whatever we want, right? This is a hello world contract or whatever you say. We can write in. Let's stick with hello world or happy
Yeah.
birthday, Zubin.
Yeah, no, I think you can do hello world or kya hal hai, whatever. Like maybe you can just drop down your terminal a little bit. Yeah, you can make fun of my wanting to say Hindi words in the blockchain. I really enjoy it. It gives me a kick. But yeah, because they can't see. I think the audience can't see the code because the terminal's up high. So maybe
Oh
just
wait.
drag the terminal down a little bit. Huh. And
Uh,
then so they can see here. So this public viewable message thing, we want to try and give it in the constructor. We're giving it an initial message value, right? Line 14. So what should
yeah.
does anyone in the chat want to suggest what initial message you want to see in the blockchain? Quick, before we run out of time. 3, 2. Otherwise we'll end up
So
sticking with
slow.
chale shuru karte. Chalo, let's stick
जो
with
चल
chalo.
रहा people are like जो चल रहा है चलने दो.
जो चल रहा है चलने दो. Let's not interfere with these guys. Chalo, deploy कर लो यार.
Let's try to deploy it.
क्या Ritvik, hello world. We avoiding hello world.
That's so old school now. Okay. So yeah. So we are trying to deploy, and here you can see it's very important. The wallet that we have funded. So a very small amount of it is we're trying to use it, right, to deploy this particular smart contract. Let's try and confirm it. Zubin, is this screen visible? I'm not sure how
It
you
is, but
guys
you
can.
can drag the bottom left of it to make it. Yeah, thank you. So what all this is doing, guys, is saying that look, you're about to send something onto the blockchain, which will immutably and permanently change the state of the blockchain. You have to sign it with your wallet. Just confirm it because it's going to cost some computation cost, right? A tiny amount of native token will be used to
Yeah.
run the computations.
And here you can see our contract is deployed. Okay. Yeah. So if we want to check the smart contract that we deployed, चलिए शुरू करते हैं. Let's try and see the message. Also, Zubin, if you want to give context of what this orange and blue represents in events,
Actually, that's a great idea. So see,
that's
the thing
important.
is this, yeah, it's very important. So let me start with the blue button, right? The blue button is basically saying, tell me what the value that the public string on line level message, what is the value that
Yeah.
currently has? So and we'll see in a moment what that has because we've deployed it with the initial string text. We'll see that it'll have that string text. We'll see that, but you'll see it's blue color, right? Blue color means
Yeah.
you're not changing the state. It's read only. There's no write operation happening that changes the state of the blockchain. You're not writing to the database. You're reading only, right? So it's a free operation.
Yeah.
So that's why it's blue. The orange ones is a different color to warn you that look, when you click that one, there's going to be some operational cost involved in running the compute operations to change permanently the state of the blockchain. So that's why it's orange. That's why even the deploy button you'll see is orange, because it's going to permanently
Uh,
change the state of the blockchain. Why? Until you deployed the contract, the smart contract never existed in the blockchain. Now that you're deploying it, the
yeah,
blockchain never changed because you now got a smart contract in it. So that's an operation that will require some compute work. Okay, over to you.
yeah. Yes, let's try and see what this message holds for us. So we have it up. चलिए शुरू करते हैं is here. Now, if you want to
Excellent.
update this message, right, we have a function known as update message. If you have seen that, let me just try and zoom out. Okay, cool. So you have something known as update message. If you want to update this message, let's say चलिए शुरू करते हैं ऐसे शुरू कर दिया. Okay, let's try to see if we can update this message. It will again require us to spend some amount of fee. Okay, MetaMask is here, prompt is here. We'll spend some fee here, confirm. Cool.
So it always takes a few seconds to run these transactions, right? And so transactions, anything that changes the state of the blockchain. And the reason for that, guys, it may seem annoying, but keep in mind, when you're putting some data permanently into something that's immutable and you have to get consensus on it across the entire network, it's going to take a little
Hmm.
time. So obviously, it's not meant
Yeah,
for use cases where you need like a super fast response. It's not meant for that. It's meant for a situation where a little bit of latency is a worthwhile trade, a payoff to get the immutability and security guarantees of the blockchain. So you make the trade-off कि ठीक है latency थोड़ा कम होगा, like it's going to be, oh sorry, going to be quite high, लेकिन security बहुत ज़्यादा है इसमें, right?
bilkul. But yeah, you see, it's still a very small amount of time, but what goes around in the back end is something that you
It's quite amazing.
would
Yeah.
imagine. It's something that's awesome. Cool, eh? I think we are pretty much it with the first part. Deploying a hello world contract, deploying a चलिए शुरू कर. Hey, Zubin, you're on mute. If you're trying to speak something.
Sorry, Ash, I was going to say we haven't checked that the message has been updated.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. I think it's updated.
There you go.
It's
It's
updated.
updated.
Cool.
Huh.
Cool. Cool.
So at least now
Awesome,
they know
man.
that you actually did something on the blockchain, Ash.
Yeah, it's not just a normal workshop, intro to blockchain workshop. It's something that we're actually doing it on chain. Uh, okay, let me. This is very painful. Zooming in and zooming out.
Yeah,
But
it can be a bit difficult.
yeah,
Yeah.
cool. Done. We are done with the first part, that is deploying a smart contract, right? And hopefully this was very, very clean, neat, and you would have understood a lot of things. These are all the steps that we did. If you are going to do it on your own, maybe you can refer to all of these steps. It's one of the same thing what we did, same concept, same things, right? Next part, let's go back to the Git book. It's very, very helpful for us. So we are done with almost everything. We have installed the MetaMask browser. We have funded our Sequoia testnets. We have written, compiled, and deployed our first smart contract. Now what next? Now it's the time to level up. So when you say level up, you need to do something better. And when we look out for growth, we try to learn a bit complex things, right? Not very complex, but yeah, for somebody like you who's doing it for the first time, maybe a little bit complex, but yeah, still you will be able to get most out of it because we are going to explain it in the way that a layman understands, right? Perfect. Uh, and we have Zubin with us for almost all our queries. Whatever you want to ask, you can just put in any doubts, anything that you have in mind. Please feel free to put in chat. Zubin is here to answer almost all your queries.
100%.
Great, great. People are wishing you happy birthday in chat.
I see
Decentralized
that.
new service contract. You made it. Done. We have deployed a smart contract. We'll take one message step forward and build an entire Web3 application. So this is a Web3 application, and we are going to do it in the next 1.5 hours. That is there in front of us. And you will see that we will be building it, we'll be writing the code, and we will be uh, doing the front end part of it also, right? So there's a separate part building a front end. So if you are a web, like if you already have background in building web applications, so you would be very, very comfortable in doing that. But then also we're doing something very, very new. I think that would also be a concept that you'll be learning it for the very first time. And this entire scenario, it's a very small part of it, and you can extend this project to do whatever you want, do some cool modifications, do some cool innovations, and try getting in maybe many more use cases out of this particular project that we are doing today, right? Awesome. So what we're going to use here is we're going to use Chainlink functions to call the Hacker News API. Chainlink functions, it's something that's very very recent, and Zubin is the best person to tell us more about Chainlink because he was the one who was there from the ideation to the implementation phase when these Chainlink functions were being designed and made out, and these Chainlink functions have kind of helped this entire ecosystem of blockchain to grow better because it has made us liberal towards many things that we can use, right? But
100%.
Zubin, using Chainlink, people might be confused. Like when we talk about blockchain, right? So there's nothing off chain that we can get inside blockchain. That would be a core that people talk about. Okay, this is against the fundamentals of blockchain. But what we're trying to do in Chainlink functions, is it contradicting? You might be getting these type of questions very, very frequently, right? So let's try address this here for our audiences also.
Sure. So, no, it's a great point. So, yes, it's a very difficult challenge to bring in data that is off chain onto the blockchain without losing the cryptographic guarantees, all the consensus stuff. So, Chainlink as a protocol has its own what's known as OCR2, right? Off chain reporting consensus protocol. So, it's an off chain form of the consensus protocol that uses cryptographic proofs, basically mathematical proofs, which proofs are publicly verifiable on the blockchain, that the data that Chainlink's Oracle network, the decentralized Oracle network returns back into the blockchain from the real world has indeed cryptographically been verified. So even in the so let me first introduce the concept of Chainlink functions, which Arsh will be taking you through in the moment. Basically, think of it like a Lambda or a Google Cloud Functions, right? You run custom JavaScript, you can write whatever JavaScript you want. It'll get compute, it'll hit an external API, it'll pull the data, and the data that gets returned by your JavaScript also goes through the consensus mechanism before getting finally posted back to the blockchain. And you can rely on the fact that when it's back in the blockchain, it has gone through consensus. So the data has been validated cryptographically, right? So that's the benefit. Now you can hit any API in the world. Yes, of course. Now, if the API returns wrong data, that's nothing. That's a risk in any situation. But whatever
Yeah.
data is returned by the API, that gets validated. That there was no man in the middle attack. There was no other issue where somebody else intercepted the data and mutated it in some way. That's what it does. And so here,
Awesome.
what are we building? I guess that'll help people understand, like Arsh, right? I mean,
Yeah. So basically, as you see the project, the title says decentralized news service contract. So there's a website known as Hacker News. So it's a website, basically an aggregator of various news that comes out in public. So this is the website that aggregates. In India, you would have used something known as InShots, right? That's not available on web, but InShots is a website that's very very common, where you can get short news, and basically that's also a news aggregator platform where it puts in news from every other newspaper, every other print media, every other social media. So that's something that is there in India. Let's say something similar to InShots we have on web, and that is Hacker News. And how we are trying to fetch in news from uh, Hacker News is what we're going to do in this particular part of the presentation. So why to do it on blockchain? There are multiple things you already are aware of. What are the features of blockchain, how it is helpful, and how can we do stuff? There are two three things. First is it helps us with immutable code. The kind of news that you have, it is something that can be of concern if somebody comes up, changes something, but we want it to be transparent. We want people to be accountable, and people, like, there's nobody who can remove that censorship, right? So there are multiple things that helps us do that, but you can think of it in any different scenario, right? It's just a normal news website that we're going to fetch in. But yeah, if you talk about the use cases, we can do something in the case of fintech. We can do something in terms of, let's say, registering something. We can do something in the form of, let's say, electoral voting system, right? So the multiple use cases that you can do, and all of these features that we are talking about here in blockchain would be very very useful. For this particular thing, we'll have a distributed backend. We'll be using blockchain to store data, which will provide fault tolerant distributed backend. This is compared to database. It is shared across independent providers. So this is something that we're going to do, and I believe the context of Chainlink functions that Zubin cleared would have helped you understand on uh, why we are doing it this way. Chainlink functions, as the mentioned, it's easiest way to for a smart contract running on a secure, immutable, verifiable blockchain to interact with data sources information outside the blockchain. So yeah, outside the blockchain, we are getting in something from outside the blockchain that is hacker's website. We're trying to fetch in inside our blockchain. We are trying to run. We are trying to secure, and we are trying to interact with those data sources. Similarly, we can do it for any of these websites that you want to do, right? Cool. Okay. Perfect. 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 Just quickly let me know if there's something you can ping in all your doubts and queries in the chat. Right. We'll try to address
Yeah,
all of them.
I'm monitoring that, and we have some community folks also there helping me monitor that. Don't you worry, Ash.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. 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 Cool. Perfect. Now you know where do we create the smart contract? Let's pick Remix again. Remix is the ID that we use for this news website, news service contract also. So we have Remix. Okay. Perfect. So below the starting point of basic Chainlink function consumer smart contract, we have the contract that we are going to use for this new service already written. Similar, the code is very similar to what we do in JavaScript. We are importing some functions. We are importing some libraries from the specific owners. Then we're writing a contract functions consumer example contract. There is a GitHub link that Zubin might share in which you can get the entire thing, but we'll try to build in of what all things are required and why they are particularly used, right? So there are multiple things. There's something on a subscription ID. We'll try to see what is this subscription ID. We'll generate a subscription ID for us, and we'll put in here. We'll try to put in the source of how we are fetching here. Basically, that's JavaScript code. We'll try to show you how the JavaScript code is working and fetching in results. Also, we'll be creating an array sort of structure where we'll be putting in all the articles that we're getting from the news website. So one after another, we'll be pushing all those articles in the structure known as structure similar to an array, right? So the multiple things that we're going to do with this part of the code. Let's go to Remix and try putting in this code, and then we can start experimenting. Awesome. Awesome. Let's create a new file.
You need to zoom in again, huh?
Yeah. Thank you so much for reminding. I think.
So, guys, for those of you wondering where the files go in the Remix, see, Remix is an in-browser IDE, right? So it saves all the files you make to your local browser storage. Okay. So where Ashish is on the left side on the file icon, he's just right-clicked over there, just like you'd use in your VS Code or something, and created a new file. All Solidity files end with the .sol suffix extension, and so that's
Yeah.
what Ashish is doing in the left side.
Awesome. Let's try and copy this up and put it there. Okay. Just a warning. Done. Cool. So we have this smart contract written. Again, you can see the version. We've already gone through what this particular part of code is doing. We'll try to put in some particular things that will help us understand it better. Right? We are sending a request. We'll see how this exact request is sent, and we are using that those tokens again for sending a request. Then how we are fulfilling this request and how we are getting the articles. We'll add some part of the code. Let us go back to our contract. Cool. So the first thing is we are adding our new source. So we are creating a structure, something similar to a structure, and inside the structure you have two particular uh, uh, variables. What are those variables? One is URL of that particular news article, right? And the published date is something we are trying to get, and we are creating a structure similar to an array, which is a private structure where you will be putting in all the articles that you get from that particular news source. So we have copied this up, and we want to. So
So,
for those of
Harsh,
you who don't know what is.
what is the struct for JavaScript developers? How would you explain it to them?
So it's basically a kind of an aggregator. You can say you want to do multiple things together, right? So similar to what the kind of struct we have in normal language, where we uh, combine some member functions and member variables together, and we can do it. If you worked in some object oriented programming language, we build classes, right? In classes we do something of the sort of the member functions. Then we have some access specifiers where we'll put in some of them as private, public, or something like that. Well, it's a very famous question in India: what is the difference between a structure and a class, right? This
Right.
is some you
A
basically
struct-
got an idea of.
right. It stands for structure, right? So it's basically a
Yeah,
structured piece of data, just a data structure,
yeah,
right? That
yeah,
gives it a type. So now article, capital
yeah,
A article is a type. You have data of the type article, right?
yeah. Let's try copying it up, and we'll put it after bytes public s last error. It is okay here. Cool. So bring it here. Let's take care of the indentation. Awesome. So we have this particular part that will help us add our new source. After this, we are trying to add an event response to help us keep a log of all the articles that we add. So what are so yeah, this is the particular part of code where we are getting in a URL and a published date as the uh, arguments. Right. This will create a place for articles. Okay, we are going to add it. We're going to add it after our event response. This is the event response. Add it. Awesome. Article edit done. So we have made it up. Then it's the part of JavaScript, right? This is pretty interesting part of code where we are. This is basic JavaScript code, right? All of you might be familiar with it. So what this JavaScript code is doing? First, it is fetching news from Hacker News. It's a website. This is the URL, you can say hackernews.firebase.io.com. Filter out the latest story. What is the topmost story? Like every single at every point of time, there is something that is getting updated, right? So it's going to filter out what has come up latest on the platform. It'll fetch the details of the story. Like we have two things, right? Title and URL is something that we're going to fetch, and we are going to return both of them. So this is the part of code. Let's try and run this part of JavaScript code and see what is the result we are getting. Where we can run this, we have something known as functions.chain.link/playground. Use it to uh, run this part of code. Perfect. Let's
You'll have
try
to
bring
zoom
it
in a
up.
bit, definitely 100% on
Yep,
this one. Also,
yep,
it's pretty
yep.
narrow.
Doing it. Uh,
So this is
Cooler.
basically
I
a
think it's
simulator. This is basically a
yeah.
simulator that runs the JavaScript. Like what will happen when you send it through the blockchain, it simulates that. So you can test that your JavaScript and its return result is working as intended before you deploy it onto the blockchain.
Mm. It's good to see that we have that same thing in Chainlink functions playground itself. We don't need to use some third party or something like that. It's built in that way.
Yeah, it's a dev tool
Perfect.
for people to debug early.
Yeah. Let's try run the code. See what is the news article that we're getting. Perfect. We're getting something. Avi node group charter trends 2023. This is the output that you can see. So that means our JavaScript code is working. Now we need to put in the same JavaScript code as in our smart contract. So from where we are trying to get in from where we're trying to fetch in the code. So this is the source string where we're going to add it. So I think they have helped us with this as well. Perfect. Yeah. So this is the string source. This is the single line of code that we have written. This JavaScript code. This is a single line where that we're going to replace it inside our smart contract. Let's do that. This is the particular part, right? This we're going to replace it. Perfect.
Yeah, it's
Let me
just
check.
really important
Make
to
sure.
note. Yeah, just go ahead and say that. I know what you're going to say.
Yeah. So saying please make sure that you have semicolons at the end. This is very important because we are writing it entirely in one particular line, and that might hamper. Perfect. I think we are correct, right? This is also all good.
Yeah, as long as they copy it from the Git book, it's okay. So if you switch back to the Git book,
Mm,
it's explained over there because see what's happening is we're basically injecting JavaScript into a Solidity file. Imagine
yeah.
injecting JavaScript into a Java file. Like it's not going to work that way, right? So we're
Yeah.
basically giving the entire JavaScript as one big string. So
Yeah.
that's why it needs to be on one line in this format,
Mhm.
so that it ends up being compiled properly by the Solidity code.
Yeah. Perfect. That's done. We need something on a subscription ID. Okay, we'll come to that. but let's do some more things. Okay, yeah. So in fulfill request, we can add some logic to decode response from a JavaScript, push the article into articles arrays, right? We have created an articles array. So whatever response we are getting from this JavaScript code, we are trying to push in that array, and will have a kind of stack structure or something like where one article is over the another one. So that have a structure similar to an array. Let's try and put in. They are saying we need to add it after the if checking s last request id. Okay, if checking yeah, this one, right? Perfect. Here, write the articles. So we
Correct.
are trying
So
to
yeah, just to jump in there, Arsh, for the audience, they must put it in fulfill request, right? Not in send request, because this
yeah,
is on the callback. The Chainlink Oracle Network smart contracts will call your smart contract back with the result of the JavaScript computation, right? So it's in
yeah,
the callback that you need to put this data,
yeah.
this push function.
And the very important function get all articles to help us see which all articles we have saved in this array so far. So basically, a helper function is something that you can say kind of which so this particular function also we can put in here. Perfect, perfect. Until now, we have no compilation errors. If there would have been any compilation error, this green check mark here would have turned red, right? So we are there on auto compile here also, right? So I think it's pretty much it. We have something missing, that is subscription ID. So we need to check in what is subscription ID, what is so in this particular part of smart contract, we are using Chainlink functions, right? For using that Chainlink function, we need that subscription ID. Let's see how we'll get that subscription ID. Uh, so this is functions.chain.link. Let's go.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
in the
here
Git
you can
book.
see.
You may want to just show the
Yeah,
Git book for just a second.
yeah.
And so, just so that others understand what a function subscription is, think about it this way, right? When you make your request for the JavaScript to be executed, you're going to be using link tokens to fund that computation. Now,
Mm-hmm.
because the blockchain's public, what happens if somebody uses your smart contract to run the computations? You'll end up
Mm-hmm.
basically funding their computation, right? So you want to protect your smart contract, or your, and ensure that basically only smart contracts that you have authorized are allowed to use your subscription ID, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the subscription is basically a way for you to pre-fund it. Think of it like a pre-charge mobile phone, prepaid mobile phone. You prepay for the airtime, like that. You prepay for the compute time on the Chainlink network using your subscription.
Yeah,
Put some link in it, and that's what gets deducted as and when you run functions, and you get to protect your wallet in that sense also.
yeah. Great. I think that was very, very helpful. Now we'll try to create our subscription. Okay. Connecting a wallet. Again, we'll have that MetaMask pop up. What we're using MetaMask wallet. We'll try to authenticate again. If you're able to see. Okay, we have connected. I'll maybe jump in. Our screen is visible. Your email ID. Right. So any email ID you can give. This is something that you can give. Or at rate.
You can do it at test.com also. It doesn't really matter at this point. It's not, oh, that's fine.
Yep.
Also, Arsh, just tell them what your admin email address is. That's your wallet address, right? It's basically saying you're
Yeah.
the admin of the subscription,
Yeah.
right? And it's taken it because you can see it on the upper right also, 0x548. That's on the upper right
This
also. That's
is
because your wallet is connected to the functions website
yeah,
on
and
Ethereum
it's
Sepolia network,
Sepolia. Yeah,
right?
you
And
can
how is it
you
getting all
can
this data? From MetaMask.
yeah. So we have authenticated MetaMask. So due to that, it is here, and you can maybe recheck also that if you're using it correctly, we're using Ethereum Sepolia. Perfect. Let's create subscription. So yeah, please confirm the transaction. Again, we have this asking for money. It's still testnet, ethers. Cool. Let's confirm it. We await confirmation. Perfect. Going good till now. I think. Yeah,
Yeah,
people are asking.
I've got the comments under control. Don't worry. It's
Awesome.
all under control. You're
I'm
just
used to when.
I know you fly the
Uh,
plane, and I'll sit and make sure that the passengers are comfortable.
awesome. Generally, what happens is when I am doing some live session or something, the major thing is that we are more aligned to is comment section, right? What is happening? What the kind of
100%.
people
I
are
know.
there? So
But it's a
that's what
lot
I'm
to
used
do,
to.
man. When you're live coding and stuff, it's a lot to then watch the comments. So I'll take care of it. Don't worry about it. You
Yeah,
just focus on the coding. As it is, coding is not easy at dinner time, especially. So
yeah. When we have Zubin with us, everything is easy.
I wouldn't be so sure. It's well past midnight my time. I may start getting much less effective.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, perfect. I think this is approved. It's receiving a confirmation. Let's wait for it. Then a sign message. Yeah, we have done it.
Almost. It's going to happen any second. So what's happening is Arsh is creating a subscription with the Chainlink network, which means Arsh is interacting with Chainlink smart contracts, application code on the blockchain to create a subscription, send it some link token so that the blockchain immutably, everybody in the world can now see this, that this address 0x548, whatever is Arsh's, has created the subscription, has this much link balance in it. No one can take it away without his authorization and approval. And this subscription now belongs to him. He can decide which contracts can use the subscription now.
Yeah, perfect. Subscription is created. Now we can add funds. The whatever funds you have, like currently we have around 10 link tokens. Whatever you want to fund it for this particular smart contract, you can do it. Let's do it all 10. We add it, add funds, proof, add funds. Okay, cool. See add funds confirmation. I think I closed it. It was not done, right? Should we do it again or
Just click your
just
MetaMask button again. Okay. It's probably so it's because you just check your wallet. It says you didn't have, you see, it says transfer amount exceeds your balance. So why don't you just put 5? Maybe you don't have 5
5?
link. Put 5 link and see if that works. But also just check your MetaMask. I thought you did get funded. Yeah, you have 10 link there. I'm not quite sure what happened. Just do 5 and see. It should be more than enough.
I think, yeah, I think all 10 have been transferred already. That's what I feel.
Oh, I see. That's why. That's what's happened. So what happened is your state in the front end. So just refresh the page. That's fine. You can just reject this stuff. Yeah, just refresh the page.
I think, yeah, we have the subscription name, subscription ID.
Yeah, just so if you just go to the subscriptions in the top, see you're in /new now, right? So just correct, and go down further. There's your ID 2099.
Yeah,
Just click on it. Just click on it, and
we
look at the
have 10
balance.
link
It's got
tokens.
10 links.
Oh,
Right. You're trying to send it from an empty wallet. So this is another great example of if your wallet doesn't have the funds, you can't hack into the system. You can't change stuff you don't have. Your wallet is empty. You'd already sent it, right? There was a state
yeah,
mismatch in that second, but it wouldn't let you do something wrong. It wouldn't let you do
yeah,
something that you cannot possibly do because your subscription already had the balance in it.
yep. Awesome. Now we have done it. We already have subscription ID that is 2099. Let's go back and put in here. Awesome. So we have subscription ID. I think pretty much it is done. If I'm not wrong. Perfect.
Yeah, just have you put the subscription ID there in the line in the middle of the
Yes.
code, right?
Yep. Done.
Perfect. Okay.
Fully
So
subscribed.
now the next step is to deploy this contract and then add it as a consumer.
Yeah. Yeah, here we'll be adding it as a consumer, but before that, let's go and deploy. Again, we'll be using inject to provide a MetaMask. Okay, we'll have a prompt.
Note that injected provider still says Sepolia. Always check that you're issuing it that you're going to deploy and interact with the right blockchain, right? So, because you never know, sometimes you may switch in your MetaMask to some other chain accidentally, and then there'll be all kinds of problems if you're not careful, right? It's basically a different environment.
You can look at the terminal we're trying to deploy. It's all correct. Cool. Okay, let's confirm it. I'm not sure. Wait, sorry. Is it all right? Are you able to see?
I didn't see what you did though. Sorry, what happened? Did you deploy it?
Yeah, I deployed it.
So what is the scan thing say? Function, yeah, functions consumer example dot constructor, right? So you can click,
Yeah,
and then it says on the bottom left, deployed contracts is functions consumer example. Yeah, so you seem to have deployed it. You
yeah.
can copy your contract address from there, and if you want, you can click on the in the terminal view on Etherscan. Etherscan is the blockchain explorer for Ethereum networks, right? So this will now, if you click on that, that's functions.chain.link. Yeah, you're adding the consumer address. Okay, fine. We'll do the Etherscan stuff later. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's actually happening here? Basically, you're saying, look, I've deployed the smart contract. The smart contract, my blockchain application is going to now interact with Chainlink functions, and it's going to use subscription number 2099, which has my funds. So I want to
Hmm.
authorize my contract, my smart contract, my application to be a user of those funds, which means if I now deploy the identical smart contract, I cannot use subscription 2099 on this Sepolia network because I haven't added mine to your subscription. And I can't do it because I'm not the admin. My wallet address is
Hmm.
different from yours, right? So I'm not the admin of the subscription. So I cannot
Yeah.
add my contract to your subscription and use your funds, right?
Yeah.
So that's basically what's going. Okay, you've done the consumer. Great.
Yeah. So here you can see we have our smart contract that is created.
Yeah, please just zoom in a little bit. I think so. That I think so. Oh, so this is the blockchain explorer, right?
Yeah, yeah, Etherscan.
How did
Yeah.
you get here? Maybe we should show the audience that.
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
like once we have added a consumer, we can click on the address, we'll get on to Etherscan.
Right, and this is the contract you deployed. This is the address of the contract you deployed, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Correct.
yes, yes.
And you can see it's the from address is 0x548, which is your wallet address down the middle, right? And it says to, that means came from your wallet to the blockchain and it created this contract and the address is on the top of the contract.
Yeah,
Perfect. And how much it costs is 0.239,
0.23 tech
293,
transaction
sorry.
fee.
Correct.
Mhm.
And the transaction hash is a unique identifier for this interaction with the blockchain, which is unique across the blockchain, so people can trace things like that. It gives you the contract address above there, et cetera, et cetera.
Mm.
So this is how you can explore, and you can, for example, Arsh, if you were to copy your wallet address, you see contract creator under more info. No, that's the contract address. Yeah, copy the your wallet address, which I
Contract.
think is now on contract creator. Now paste it into the search by address transaction hash, right?
You'll see that. Oh, yeah,
It'll
yeah.
basically show all the activity that your wallet, please zoom in, I think, like you. It'll show all the activity that your wallet has done on the blockchain. So you can see it's just deployed something 2 transactions 3 minutes ago, right? And 2 minutes ago, it contacted that contract over there, which is, I think, you creating the ad consumer. Correct. It says method is add
Yeah,
consumer. So it's basically a fully verifiable log of all the interaction on the blockchain, which is the whole point. It's meant to be transparent and immutable for complete accountability and security. Make sense?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Perfect, perfect. I think
Awesome.
this is something that people can go and explore. Something will give you a better idea on how things are working and how you can see it very, very transparently in front of you. This is the fun of using blockchain. Perfect. I think we're done. Our subscription ID is done. This done. Is there something left? Cool. Perfect. I think this is done. Now let's try and see what we are getting in, right? Shall we send a request and see if we are able to get some news article? Okay,
Sure,
let's.
why not? So why did we do it in the
Yes.
Don't send the transaction because there's some error that happened below. So Remix will sometimes give you these strange errors.
Okay. Cool.
What is your consumer address again? Just you're sure you added the right thing to the consumer, to your subscription consumers?
Yes.
Just check your consumers.
Sorry.
Yep, and you can do a command F in the functions page and see if it matches. And paste it. What is the address? 0x. I can't see it. You're zoomed out a lot, so I can't see it.
Zero X B59F. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you've definitely got that. You've got the balance. Sometimes it could also happen because of network spikes and stuff like that. You've got the right balance. You've got the subscription ID.
Mm-hmm.
There may be a bug in your contract. I don't know because I wasn't able to see because I zoomed out some of it. That's all right. Just try and see send request again and see what happens. Yeah, there may be a problem here. There may be a problem here. There may be something that you missed out a line somewhere. Just reduce your terminal a bit and let's take a look. Okay.
Okay. First part, adding an article, publish
And
date.
private articles. Yeah, we did that. This is always the fun of live coding, right? It's always fun to debug stuff.
Is it?
I said so. The router address that was hard coded, we had hard coded that there. 2099 is the right subscription ID, right? You're definitely sure about that?
Yes. Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Constant source.
It wouldn't have compiled if that was the problem, so that's okay. Request ID, fulfill request. I see. Hang on. Why is it saying still? So just open your MetaMask for a second because it still says in your terminal, it says pending. Just open your MetaMask for a second, please. Got it. Okay, so there's nothing that's pending over there that we can see. Okay, that's fine. So going back to, we didn't really have to change the we didn't have to change the send request function at all because I had already created all the code for that, so that's fine.
I think this, from the point of view of code, I think we are all good.
It's no, I think that's fine. Get all articles is also fine.
Yeah,
and it's not going to hit that command yet because send request will only hit send request, and then eventually it'll simulate what happens on fulfill request also. So
send request we didn't change anything, right?
No, we didn't change anything. So I think there may be something in fulfill request or in the way we set up a subscription. And I was looking at some comments. I didn't follow what you were doing entirely. So let me try and just see if I can debug for you.
Okay.
We'll give this another 2 minutes. Otherwise, worst comes to worst, we redeploy a new contract and we can just take a fresh contract from the GitHub repo. And just do that to save time.
Yeah. Shall we do that?
We can do that. So maybe let's do that. I'll just give you the GitHub repo for a sec. You have it handy?
Where you put in?
No,
you can put in the private chat.
Yeah, or it's also on the sheet that I shared with you.
Sheet. Okay. Checking on the sheet.
It's also in the actual. It's in the actual Git book, right?
Yeah.
At the top of the Gitbook, I think it's there. You can share your screen on the Gitbook also if you're looking there so that others can see where the GitHub is on the top of this decentralized news service section.
Just a minute. Yeah. I think this is.
Are you sharing your screen? Because I can only see your remix.
Huh?
Are you sharing your screen? Because I can only see your remix.
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen. You're not able to see GitHub.
No, there you go. That's now we can see it. So it's in the ref folder, newsarchive.solve. Yeah. Just copy that whole thing, paste it in the remix IDE, and then we'll have to change your. Just close that other one, I think. Hang on, which?
But huh?
Why have you got two remixes open? Yeah. Yeah, close the hello world one. We don't need that, right? So it'll just confuse us.
Yeah.
So we can replace this news archive.sol. Yep, just why is there two now? Hang on, what just happened?
I think we can replace in here, right?
Why the two news archive news website things? I'm a bit confused by what's going on now. Okay, fine. Yeah, just delete that. Replace that one there with the new smart contract. Yep. Just Command A and you can delete. Yeah.
But will we have those tokens? Is what I'm skeptical about.
No, the tokens, it doesn't matter. That's at the wallet level, right? What we need to do now is update the subscription ID here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Rest
then
everything is fine.
I think the rest everything should be fine. Now we not need to redeploy this and add this new one, new smart contract as the consumer. Yep. Connect to injected provider. Make sure it's a Apolia. Deploy it. Oh, code storage out of gas. So just cancel the transaction again. I see what's happened. This is a classic thing that happens in the blockchain thing sometimes. Open your MetaMask app. I think I know what's happened. I think you've run out of tokens. 0.1422 Sepulia ETH. So you basically run out of tokens. So you'll have to go back to the faucet.
We need to send it again.
Yes.
Will we be able to do that again?
Try it. Otherwise, I'll send you some Sepulia ETH. That's not a problem.
I think we will be able to, hopefully.
You have to sign the transaction. MetaMask opened up?
I think they're done. Let's try and see.
I didn't see you sign a transaction, so that's there you go. That's you have to sign it at the bottom somewhere. No. Close this window, Arsh. I think it's starting to confuse us a bit. So let's just What happens when you click send request, or just refresh this page? Yeah. Click send request. Yeah. You have to give your address.
Oh, it's there. It's there.
Okay, so it did happen. Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
so now go back to your original remix. Go back to the first remix one and try send request again. Let's see if it works this time.
Error happened while trying
No,
to execute a
it's trying
function.
to execute. There's some bug in your smart contract here that we haven't caught. So let's go to the new remix.
Okay.
Yeah, and then deploy it now. Yep, and it's warning you that the gas prices are high, so we may run out of the ETH faster.
Okay, I think this is done.
Okay, so just copy that address.
And add it to the consumer.
Correct. Add it to the consumer now. Yeah, perfect. Paste it. It's going to change the state of the blockchain again. Just make sure you got the right address, huh?
Yeah.
That's the old one, right? That's the old one.
Shall we close that?
Yeah.
Uh, but
I think
but I need to find the bug. Wait, let's
no,
not
you
close that.
don't worry about the bug now, right? Just let's not confuse everybody with what's going on.
Yeah,
Why
I
don't you
don't.
also go to the Block Explorer and save your contract address there? So just DFE, that's the one. You can go to the Block Explorer, which is the next tab to the right of this one. Paste your contract address there. And so now we know that that's the contract we're working with, right? And
Yeah,
if you go back to your
perfect.
functions, go back to the functions chain link and then complete the add consumer transaction. Yeah.
Approve add consumer.
Hmm.
It's something that we have done wrong. Do you need to refresh and add consumer again?
No, it's saying it's hang on, just close that. Can you just go back to your that's it. It sounds like it looks like you've pasted something incorrectly. Maybe can you just go back to your Block Explorer page, the one to the right over?
I think now it's correct. There was some extra
There is a space
space
there.
here.
Okay,
Yeah,
there you go. That's
perfect.
better.
Done.
Okay, so what are we doing here again? We're adding a second authorized consumer because the first one clearly wasn't working right. So
Yeah.
in blockchain, when you're debugging stuff, there are usually two or three major reasons for errors. Like in the JavaScript world, the major reasons for errors is that a value is actually undefined, but you don't know it
Mm,
because it's not statically typed, right? Or there's
yeah.
no property that you're looking for. There's no type checking in in JavaScript, so often objects will not have the values that you're expecting. So that's a very common error in
Yeah.
JavaScript. In
Yeah.
in the blockchain world, the common errors are your addresses are not correct, you're connected to the wrong
Mm-hmm.
network, or you don't have enough of the tokens to fund the computation at the time,
Okay.
right?
Mm.
So those are the very common ones. Now, unfortunately, because of the way the blockchain is still a fairly newish technology,
New
sometimes,
concept. Mm-hmm.
yeah, the error messages aren't great. And I know the community is working very strongly on it. But broadly,
Yeah.
there are three things you should always ask yourself. So, for example, when you inserted that space, that
Yeah.
wasn't a valid address anymore. And it said that actually the error did say that the input
Yeah.
value is not valid. If you read it carefully, it said that, right? So
Yeah.
that's what gave me the clue. Then
Yeah.
when we deployed your second smart contract, oh, you've done it, okay, and it said that it was you didn't have enough gas to deploy. The clue is your wallet
Yes.
doesn't have tokens. So these are the three common errors. That's why it's not hard to debug. Yeah, let's go ahead.
Yeah.
And so if you refresh this page, you'll have us there. You have the second one is OXD DFE. I think that's the new consumer that you just added, right? Yeah,
No,
1359.
this one is
Yeah,
the new consumer.
correct. OXDFE, right? So that's the one
Let's.
we want. Yeah, we've opened it already. Great. Okay, perfect. So that's the smart contract. Now let's go back. We've added it as a consumer. Let's go back to the right remix window. I don't think that's the one. I think that's the old one, right?
No, I think this is the new
What
one.
you can do is in the remix, you see the terminal on
Contract
top.
address.
No, you can also do in the terminal. You can paste the address that you've got from your consumer from in the terminal. Right above the terminal, there's a search with transaction, not the ID, the terminal. The
Oh,
terminal bit.
okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
So you can paste the correct smart contract address. If you go back to your Block Explorer or to your functions chain link, copy the correct smart contract address, DFE or whatever it was, starting with, or go back to function chain link. Yeah, that's another safer way to do it. Yeah, that one.
This one.
Copy
Yeah.
that.
This one.
Yeah. Go back to your remix ID, and then if you paste it in the terminal, you'll see which one is correct. Press enter. Okay, and do it in the other one, and you'll see. I think there won't be any result if you do it in the remix, the second remix on the right side. Do it over there, and I think there may not be any result. Right, it only gives you the initial text, whereas the one on the left, it
Yeah.
gives you an actual transaction.
Yeah. So this is the one, right?
I think so. It's hard to tell because um,
Yeah. The naming convention is something that we can check in, right? This was decentralized news.sol. This is the new one, news archive.sol.
okay, right,
Just to
okay,
just
that must be it. Yeah, that's the one we
perfect,
just did.
perfect,
Okay,
perfect.
cool.
Yeah.
Let's just deploy it. Okay, why is it saying out of gas again? Go back to your. It could be because network prices are high right now because the US is coming online. Yeah, it says contract creation
Uh,
storage out of gas. So just check MetaMask again. Okay. So
okay.
what I'm going to do is, why don't you do this? I'll send you some ETH. We're clearly running out of gas for this. So if you don't mind
Yeah.
pasting your wallet address, account one, in the chat for me, and I will send you
Yeah.
some
Doing it.
tokens.
Doing it. Doing it.
Because Sepolia controls the number of tokens that get sent out to people. Because for some weird reason, this is another strange thing that people do, is that they try and basically take up as much of these test tokens, which they don't really need, but
Hmm.
they'll still try and you know uh, take it for some reason, and so it ends up draining the
Yeah.
faucet. So the faucets end up being a bit controlled because of that. But that's all right. I'm just sending you. Okay, just check your account balance. You should have an extra 5 Sepolia ETH in it now. In about a moment, it'll update. Not yet.
You sent it?
Yeah, I've sent it. It could take a moment for the network to synchronize. So
Hmm.
whoever I send it to, 0x548F7, that's you, right?
Yep.
Unless
Yep.
some
Yep.
lucky
Yep.
person has got some extra Sepolia.
I think it's.
Oh, sorry.
What happened?
So I was connected to the wrong network. So I
Oh,
basically sent it to your wallet on Optimism Sepolia. That's okay. I'll just do it now on this. Give me a
TMs
second.
for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Now I'm going to send it again. Okay. I'm going to send you 5 Sepolia ETH. Done. I was writing a bunch of code for another network just before this call. So my MetaMask is controlled is connected to another network.
Yep. Oh, we have
Yeah, there
5.290
you
right
go.
now.
I just sent that to you. Now you
Perfect.
can try and deploy this contract and see what happens. Ta-da! So that was the issue. We were basically, you're running out of gas. You didn't have enough gas, and it's probably because the US has come online now. So there's so much network activity that the prices have gone up, which happens
Yeah.
in the blockchain. The more people get active on it, there are spikes randomly at weird times.
Got it. So it'd be good for people, right, who are
Hang on,
watching.
but
Maybe for
did
them
we just
also. That.
we just deployed this already, right? That's why we added it
Uh,
as a consumer. Why are we deploying it again?
oh, we need to send request. Sorry.
Right. Just try and send request then. If that is the correct one, because now you'll have two.
It's the same.
No, but I don't know which one you're sending to now because you'll probably have two deployed contracts, right? Okay, let's try and fix this somehow. Just
Shall
click on
we? Huh?
just click on the left side under deployed contracts on your functions consumer. You see that downward arrow? See, now you have two
Yeah.
over there, right? So
This is the
that's,
latest one.
yeah,
We need to add this as consumer and do the stuff again, right?
something like that.
Shall
Let me
we?
just see what I can do. One sec. Let me just check something. Just give me half a second. Yeah. Um, yeah, so there's something going on in your contract. And now, to be honest, because you've got a few of them going, I've lost track of which one's the right one. So let me see what I can do here.
Zubin is the savior.
Well, I always love debugging stuff because it actually keeps me mentally sharp also, so it's great. I don't mind it at all. So let's see what we can do here.
Uh,
Um, okay. Okay. What I'm going to try and do is I want to see if should I try and share screen and see if I can do this
yeah,
and
yeah.
see if it works for
Oh,
me.
would be good. Yeah,
What do you think?
yeah, yeah. We can do that. Yes.
Cool.
Maybe some environment issue or something like that we
Yeah.
might
Okay.
have
Let me try
here.
and share my screen and then we'll see what happens.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Okay. So that's
Good.
my screen. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. And I have
Yep.
to create a subscription and all that. So let me see. Am I connected to injected provider? Yes, I am. Is it Sepolia? Yes, it is. Okay. I am going to deploy this example. But before I do that, I have to create a subscription, right? Because I have to update that. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
Function.chain.link, connect to Ethereum Sepolia. That's my wallet address. Very good. I've already got a subscription here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the subscription 2058. Um, in fact, let me see if I can do this. Let me see. Let's do a trick and see if this works. Okay, because I know this contract worked. So I'm going to try and connect to this contract. I'm going to copy this contract that I addressed that I deployed a couple of days ago.
Mm-hmm.
On the last four, no, that won't be working because I changed the codes in that. Okay, so that's fine. Let me try and do this afresh. So 2058 is my Sepolia subscription ID. I'm going to put that here. Awesome. All of the rest of that should be more or less what we're expecting. And then, all right. And then what we're going to do is we are going to, what we can also do is because get all articles is public, you can connect to my existing contract. Um, and I can show you
Oh,
how
is
to
it?
do that later on.
Yeah.
I can show you how to do that later on. So we can do the front end and show folks how this is done. If we can't debug this issue
Yeah.
soon, we can use my previous contract and see how. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've added the subscription ID. I'm going to try and deploy this. And I don't know whether you guys will be able to see the pop-up. You cannot see the pop-up, unfortunately, for some reason. Let me see what happens if I do that. Can you see that? No, for some reason, it's only sharing that bit. Interesting. Okay, but let me see. One sec. That's why. All right, I'm going to
Not
move some.
sharing a full screen.
Yeah. There's always some problem in tech, right? That you're either sharing the wrong tab, there's always something going on, right? So,
Yeah.
okay, let's see. I'm going to share this entire window. Okay. Now, let's see if that works. You guys still can't see my MetaMask, which is really weird. Huh. Okay. So you guys can't see my MetaMask, but it's basically popped up. I'm pressing confirm.
Yeah, yeah,
And
we
we
agreed.
okay. And we are going to see when it actually deploys in a second. There we go. So it's deployed. Let's take a look at it on Etherscan to make sure it's all under control. That's my address. Contract's being
Yeah.
created. Excellent. Success. Contract has been created with this address.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is the same one as here. Now I have to add this as my consumer. So I'm going to add a consumer. I'm going to paste the contract address in here saying, okay, this is authorized to use my funds. And my MetaMask has popped up, which for some reason isn't sharing. It could be a Brave security thing. I don't know why that is. Okay, and it's going to be confirmed any second now when this animation finishes. Can you guys see that? Yeah. And then once that animation over there finishes, that means it's all confirmed. Okay, that'll take another couple of seconds. Consumer added, close. Excellent. So the consumer is now here. March 15th, this one, 2D Is that the same one? Yes, 2D Okay,
Yep.
that's the correct one. I'm just going to copy that address anyway for safety's sake. Okay, now we've added it. Now what happens? Now we need to try and open up the functions of it. Let me just check that get all articles is empty at the moment. Yes, it's an empty string. Owner, that's my address. Perfect. No response has been made. No request has been made. Perfect. I'm going to make
Perfect.
a send request. Yeah, interesting. So this could be a gas error. So if it's also happening on my end, then it's definitely a gas error because Arsh, this didn't happen before when we did the
Yeah.
driving, right? So what's
Yeah.
happening, I think, is the network is so busy at this
Mm.
exact moment that
Yeah.
here's what's happening. The
Yeah.
callback here, fulfill request, to run these computations, it's probably going to
It's
cost extra
taking.
gas now because of a
Yep.
lot of network activity. So why don't we do this?
Mm-hmm.
I already have an existing contract over here that
Contract.
works. Okay. Why don't we use
Yeah.
this?
Yeah.
Arsh, you can take over sharing, start with the front end, and I'll give you this contract address to put on the front end so that we can read from it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay,
Perfect.
let's do
Perfect.
that. You take over sharing then.
Yeah. Just a minute.
Done. I've added you
Okay.
back on stage.
Cool. 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 Okay. So I think that was a problem at gas and not our end. Uh, Now let's go back to the Gitbook again. If we are not wrong, cool. Right. So this is the part that we've done. Now we will try building a cool front end, and it is also something that you don't need to write a lot of code in, but we'll try to use something known as Estro that will help you build our front end very very well. So what are chaining functions are already told, but let's try building it up. All of you might have used Visual Studio Code. I'll be using Visual Studio Code for it, right? And I have a new directory, news workshop here. What we are trying to do is we are trying to use this Estro library. Estro with the first thing that we're going to do is npm create Estro at latest. Estro at latest. This will help us install multiple things. Cool. Launch sequence is initiated. So let's make. Oh, it's pretty good. It gives school names. Grateful Graham. So it's the name given. Would you like to start a new project? Let's start as an empty project. Do you want to write a TypeScript? No, not as of now. Install dependencies? Yes, you can. New GitHub repo? No, we don't need it at the moment. Project initialization. Cool. Okay, it's trying to install these dependencies, but yeah, this has made our work pretty easier. We have not written any HTML, CSS, JavaScript, or something like that, but still we'll be able to see this on our front end, right? How it's going to be? Just a minute. Uh, Zubin, are you there?
Yeah, what's up?
Okay, nothing. I was just checking in if my connection is all right or something like that.
No, it's fine.
But yeah,
I'm just letting you do your
perfect.
thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, so we have done that. So it's initialized. We have something known as Grateful Graham, and we have multiple things in. Let's just move out of this Graham. Let's have a common single directory. Let's move it up. Let me go and delete it. Okay, now we have this news workshop, and let's go back to the Git book. We need to do some installations, I guess. Perfect. Now we will be doing npm run dev for us to access it on our localhost. Npm run dev. Okay, so yeah, we have our localhost. Let's try and move uh, onto this localhost 4321. Okay, perfect. You can see Astro written, right? So this is how we have written the front end. Let's try and tweak it a bit. How we can tweak it? We will have something known as an index file. Inside that index file, Let's say if I change this Astro to, let's say, Chainlink, and we'll save it. Perfect. So you have the front end up and working. This is what we know, right? So it has made our work quite easier, right? Next, there's something else also. We are going to read from the blockchain. For that, we're going to install ethers that can help us install a few npm packages, and this is something that we're going to do next. Let me just show it to you. Perfect. GSTOM. Cool. So we're trying to, this will help us connect to the blockchain and try and get things. I think that is also done. This is the website. Cool. Now what next? Let's go back to the front end. There's something known as ABI, or application binary interface. This is something that we're going to get from the remix. Zubin, would you like to come in and tell them more about ABI, application binary interface?
Sure. So I mean, most people who have done some dev work are familiar with APIs, right? So application programming interface, which is basically an
Yeah.
interface that tells you how you can interact with something, that gives you the schema. So in the blockchain world, it's called the application binary interface, which is the schema, the structure of the method. So what are the method names? What inputs and arguments does it accept? What type does those inputs have? Because it's a typed language, right? Solidity. What value does it return? What type is the value that it returns? What's the name of all that, right? So it's basically a schema. It looks a lot like a database schema, to be honest, but basically defining all the methods, the constructor, all the errors in a Solidity smart contract. So that's what an ABI is.
Got it. So where we'll get this ABI? We can get it from our Remix IDE. Perfect. So here is the ABI, and we need to copy it in a function. What's the function name? Let's create a new file name. Sorry, it's a JSON file. So we'll go to new source. Source will add a file folder, library. Library will add a file. News archive abi.json. Perfect. So we'll try copying in that ABI. Yeah, you can see these are JSON objects. Cool. Perfect. So we've done this part. Next is we're trying to connect our front end to our smart contract using JavaScript. So we'll create one more file in this library itself. What that file name would be newsarchive.js. Perfect. Let's try and copy it up, but still you'll see there's some things that we need to get in because you have some environment variables that we use. So we'll try creating one more environment variable file to help us with these two things: provider URL and contract address. Let's create a new environment file. I think they have also told us about how to create it. So we'll simply create a .env file and we'll copy this up there. Let's do that. I think for most of you, this part would be very comfortable as you've already done multiple projects, or you're comfortable enough in writing JavaScript code, right? Perfect. Cool. So we'll create a .environment file. We'll copy it up. And here we require Zubin's help for contract address. Zubin.
Yeah, take a look at the private chat and see if that one works. If that one doesn't work, I can give you another one. It's
okay.
OX306,
Okay.
that one. Can you see it?
Okay. Let me check. Where's the private chat? Okay, cool.
OX306, that one.
Yeah, got it. I'm just copying it up. Perfect. Let's hope that it works.
Fingers crossed.
Right.
Otherwise, I'll come up with another one. Don't worry. There's lots of art that's possible when it comes to coding, right?
Yeah, Zubin has a lot of contracts made already. Okay, we have contract address. What next? Yeah, now that index file, right, where we were presenting Astro. Need to change it as per what we need it here. First, let's up different. Okay, cool. So we'll replace our index.stro file with this part of the code, and we'll maybe uh, do that HTML part also, so that we can get that front end done. Just a minute. Index.stro. This is done, and we need to replace this HTML file also. Let's try and save these files. Okay, I think we are pretty much done with the front end part also. Let me see if there's something left. Let's try and see our localhost. Oh, okay, Zubin, we have it done.
Perfect. So what's actually happening here is if you perfect, yeah. So that's exactly what it is. So that's basically pulled out the latest Hacker News articles, and
Yeah,
anytime you hit the send request button, is going to update that and pull out new
which
articles for us.
which we otherwise would have seen it live if that gas problem would have not been there.
Is
We would
not
have shown
happening.
you how you click a send request, you see that particular URL, and that same URL getting updated here. So that is something that you missed it. But yeah, maybe you can try it out at some odd times and it might work, right? I'm not very sure on the timings part, but yeah. What
Yeah,
happens in general? Is it
it can go up and down depending on the network fluctuation. And I suppose nowadays, because there's a lot of activity happening because of the on the blockchain space, because of what's
blockchain? Yep,
happening, yeah, with
Bitcoin.
the ETFs and stuff, there's a lot of excitement in the blockchain space. So I think what's also happening is there's a lot more activity on it these days because the price of Bitcoin has gone
Yeah.
up. People are sort of getting very involved, and so that can sometimes push and
Mm.
have these weird edge cases. There are ways now. Remix is
Oh,
not great for customizing how much gas to send for a transaction. Gas being the payment you make for the computation. There are ways to customize it, obviously, because obviously the network can get congested like this, for day-to-day use cases. But it's not easy to do that in Remix. We use hard hat and other toolings for that to customize those parameters that we send with the request, right? So
got it.
that's typically what happens. But the good thing is these new articles, right? These news articles that we're getting, each of these items is actually coming back. As Arsh showed you, he's reading the get all articles method from the smart contract, which means it's on the blockchain, immutably,
Yeah.
permanently there, right? So even if Hacker News gets taken down, these articles, these links are now permanently on the blockchain anyway. It cannot be taken down. In that sense, it's censorship resistant, right?
Mm.
So
Yeah.
that's what's happening. So cool. I'm glad at least we could get a good thing that we had a fair contract already deployed earlier today, because I knew that these things can happen. It's a live demo. We all know what happens in live demos, so that's fine. So the whole thing works end to end. The good thing is the Git book will work end to end as well. So those of you, obviously, we don't expect you to be fully coding along because it's a hard thing to do, coding along and watching people
Yeah.
and taking on new concepts. That's why there's a Git book. So I'll put that up here again on the on the screen for you guys, so you can take a look at it. Where is it? Here it is, right? So you can take a look at the Git book if you haven't already. Bookmark it, come back to it. You can expect the whole end-to-end thing to take about as long as this workshop, maybe a little bit more, but it's all written down there. You can just follow the steps. It's pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
So I think with that, Arsh, was there anything else you wanted to say, or shall I wrap up?
I think we are pretty much it. We were able to successfully complete it. Just a small bit of gas transaction that we couldn't do. But yeah, you are able to see it. But anyone who will be watching this video or this live session going forward, I think for you, you have the entire context on what is to be done, why it is to be done, and you can do it at on your own pace. And maybe you can take it forward to the community. If you people like the session, make sure you do share it with people who are trying to build on blockchain, who want to start on blockchain, or in general, if somebody is very very interested, you can go and just try it out, right? You, from the point of view of your careers also, if I talk a lot about careers in general, right? So it's something that you can consider as one of your career options. And yeah, maybe Zubin can enlighten you. Oh, it was lovely talking to you. It was lovely having Zubin here as a savior, saving us in multiple instances.
It's
Thank you so
fun.
much, Zubin, for
No,
coming
this is
in.
why I like the pair programming also, Arsh. So there's a couple of words to sort of wind up on over here. So for those of you who want
Yeah,
to try to add more blockchain technologies to your existing stack, we encourage you to do it. It's one of those skills that is in demand globally. And of course,
yeah,
there's lots of fair comments about, is it's a difficult space, or is it, hype space? Not really. It's like every other space in the world, whether it's AI or anything else, there'll be people who talk, positively and negatively about it. The reason I'm in the space, and the reason why there's so many spaces, so many people are in this space, is because there's a lot of opportunity for growth, for learning, for working with amazing engineers, and for solving interesting use cases that are fairly narrow in their own way. So, but it requires a certain amount of competence, and a certain challenge. So those of you who love the challenge, who love the adventure of doing something new, it's not often that these opportunities come along, in our lifetime, to be part of a new technology that's still growing up, that's still maturing, that's still evolving, right? Like everything is new. It's very new.
yeah.
So if those of you are keen, please take a look at some of these resources that are on the screen. That's there. You can also catch all of these on the recording. And the easiest way is just go to docs.chain.link, and from there you can find all this other stuff. There's also the Discord channel there, number 3, chn.lk/chainlink-discord. You can absolutely go there as well if you want. What I will also ask, for those of you who want to who deepen your knowledge, we're having a free bootcamp April 1st to 12th, right? You can register here online, and let me try and put the link for you on the screen as well, right? And I may even put it
Awesome.
on the on the chat for you if you
Chat.
like, right? Let me just put it on the chat as well. So here we go. Okay, so that's the free bootcamp that's happening. I put it in the chat. It's going to be really great because you'll get a lot of skills, a lot of different technologies, a lot of different ideas that will be presented to you, from finance to NFTs to using it with AI, all kinds of really interesting use cases, cross-chain sort of actions. How do you connect two blockchains together safely and securely using Chainlink, what's known as CCIP, all that kind of stuff. So strongly encourage you guys to look at that. The reason we encourage people to do this is the more skills you have that are relevant and in demand, the better it is for your growth as an engineer. Now, we all are
Yep.
here as engineers because we want the growth, we want the challenge. So this is an opportunity for you guys as well. And one last thing, if you guys don't mind, please, is to just leave us a little feedback. We take these workshops very seriously. Obviously, we keep trying to put out stuff that's not just there to get your attention or to get clicks or anything like that. We do this because we truly believe that giving you guys the skills will mean that you can benefit and add to your own careers, right? And then through that, add to the space, right? Because what's going to happen is the more people participate in the space, the more interesting technologies we're going to get, right? The more interesting technologies that are going to come through, etc. Now, so please leave some feedback here. I put the link in the chat as well. And keep in mind that the more stuff you do in the blockchain space, the more you can participate in hackathons. There are lots of really interesting hackathons. In Chainlink does massive hackathons twice a year. Like the last one was in Q4, November last year, I think, from memory, and it was almost 20,000 registrations and things like that. It was a lot. It was a lot, right? So you can form teams internationally. People get seriously big prizes, the hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of prizes that get given out. Projects go on to become full-on protocols also. That's also happened, right? So
So
please do give us some of this feedback. Sorry, Ash, you were going to say something?
no, just go
Okay.
ahead. Go ahead. Maybe.
Cool.
Yeah.
So please give us some feedback, guys. We'd really appreciate it. We want to know what we can do better. And of course, there's the feedback form is on the top again. Once again, I'm Zubin. Thank you so much for coming today, for giving us your time, for being patient with us as we debug things. This is always part of the joy of doing live coding stuff. And Arsh, thank you so much. It was a lot of fun preparing this with you. It was a ton of fun. I really enjoyed it.
Lovely, 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 lovely talking to you, preparing stuff and doing it live here. There's a like for blockchain, I have taught people before. Blockchain was the first time I was doing a live workshop like this in front of you. Thank you so much. And audience was also lovely. I think we had a lot of engagement going on in the comments. I was just checking in the comments again. So a
Yeah.
lot of people talking about what we're doing here and there. So thank you everyone who joined in today live, and those of you who will be joining in later also. It's something that is very very fundamental, and from here on, it's just the very beginning, very initial level of understanding. There's a long path that you need to take it up, and the community is growing. Be a part of the community. There's so many communities, so many events around you happening in the space of blockchain. If you are interested, go attend those. Try to learn stuff, try to explore, and you will be at your best. Don't just focus on one particular thing, but maybe you can explore and see whatever you like. There's so many things in blockchain that are growing, and you will definitely find whatever you love. Perfect.
100%, 100%. There's a lot of fun to be had here. And as you can see, there's a lot of challenging technical work. If you enjoy
Yeah.
growing as a technical person, there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens. So, guys, we'll see you next time. Thank you again. If you get a chance, please do spend. It's going to take just 20 seconds on the feedback, and we'd really appreciate it. But stay tuned. Subscribe to the newsletter. Check out the boot camp. That's going to be a lot of fun for you guys because you'll meet people, internationally, and get to really build your network, build your skills and stuff like that. You'll have a lot of fun. Thanks, guys, and have a fantastic rest of the evening. Enjoy your dinner and your Friday night. Thanks again, Arsh. It was awesome fun.
Thank you so much, Zubin. Wishing you a birthday again and go have a blast.
I'm going to
It's
sleep,
done.
dude.
I
It's
think,
like it's almost
yeah, yeah.
1:40 in the morning. I'm going to sleep. I'm too old to go and have a blast at 1:40 in the morning. Those days are gone.
Uh, you
Ciao.
don't sleep
ठीक है,
on
guys.
birthday nights. Perfect. Thank you. Bye
ठीक है.
bye. Thank you so much,
See you.
Zubin.
Bye.